Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Eden Star Early Access coverage. This is Season 2, Episode 6, and I'm Enigmius. Today, doing something a little bit different. I'd actually recorded this entire episode and found out after everything was recorded that the video was corrupted, which was no good. So rather than just re-record the episode, I decided that if we were going to have to redo it, we might as well do it better than the original. And one of the ways that we could do that was to just go and gather a bunch of stuff so that we can make what we want without having to worry about not having certain key ingredients, and then record the process so that we can show you bits and pieces and places of note and any highlights that we might come across, and show you that instead of a 2-day gathering montage, or even worse, 2 episodes of just gathering, and then show you what we were going to do with all this stuff that we gathered. So that's what I did, and like I said, it took 2 full game days of basically constantly being on the move, running around, gathering everything that I could get my grubby little hands on. One of the places that I came across, the first place of note, was a river, and it's one of the rivers that feeds into the larger river that leads to the waterfall that falls off into nothing. And it had not only coral, which is kind of important, and some other ore and mineral things that we could gather that was useful, but not necessarily the highlight, but it had dirty water, which if I were to strafe across the side of the river and just kind of gather along the edge of the water, I would come across dirty water in abundance. And to be completely honest, I never even saw the thing that I was gathering the dirty water from, because it was in the water and I was on the shore and I was just kind of strafing along. So we managed to come up with a very generous supply of dirty water and a little bit of coral alongside that, which helps us tremendously for taking care of our thirst for the near future, and also now knowing where to go when we need another top up of our dirty water and coral supplies. Very, very handy. So that was one of the highlights before we even got to where we needed to be for the main stuff. And I'm very, very happy to have found it. The main purpose of our little expedition was to find a supply of cerulean, which is the blue ore. We've got tennel, which is green, cerulean is blue, and then all the other ores are various different kinds of, rock and metal color. So we went to this central area on the map, which is either, I would say from looking at it, dormant volcano or a giant crater from something from a long time ago. Either or is not necessarily important, but we've encountered this environment previously in the previous iteration of the game on the smaller map, and at that point it was just like a little tucked away kind of thing that you could come across if you were exploring around. This is a little bit more fleshed out. It's got these weird sort of things. They look like rock spires, but they're actually more like trees. You can gather them exactly in the same way as you would a tree, and they have protonite, which is a very tree-like thing to have, and also illumium, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the material that you need for making anything that gives off light. So if you want to make lights for your compound, you're going to need aluminum. That's the kind of thing. I haven't actually looked specifically for recipes that use it yet, but I'm sure we'll find it eventually. So now we know where to go if we need it. We also came across cerulean, which is perfect because that's what we were here for, and gathered as much as I could along the way. Now there are a bunch of guys that walk around here, not just the dogs who are a pain in the butt, but there are these walker guys. Some of you may remember from the previous season. They move very slowly, and they have very long tongues that they will extend and lash you with if you get too close. They aren't actively hostile, but if you get too close, they become hostile. And I just don't have the weaponry right now to be able to deal with them. So I was doing my best to avoid them, and I was successful in doing so. One of the hardest parts of avoiding them is the fact that they move so slow and they blend in with the background to a certain extent, so you can run close to one without even necessarily realizing it until it's too late. And we just don't have any armor. I've realized this now. It's not the fact that we're getting hit a lot and damaged a lot. What you guys don't see is that I get the crap kicked out of me a lot trying to record these sessions. And I die very, very quickly, whether it's the Ikas that are attacking us at night or a couple of wolves that come after me during the day and I'm busy with one and the other one finishes me off. We take a lot of damage very quickly, And I've realized that it's not because our armor is bad or we're getting hit hard, it's because we don't have any armor. So we have the cerulean, we know where to find more, we have a source of aluminum if we ever need it, we have the source of the dirty water and the coral, and with all of these things together, now we have an opportunity to head back to our base and start combining things into things that we can use to make things that will be, I'm sure, very, very useful to us in the coming days. So we're going to jump ahead to that point and let you see how everything comes together. And here we are back at the base. We made it. We've got a little bit of time left before nighttime, so we're going to kind of rush into the production here, and then we'll discuss the discussion components after. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the armor here. This is the source of all things guns and armor. We've already done a couple of upgrades for our Armada tool and all these other things that we can do, and some of them, they came with it, like that and that. But we've added the Gauss cannon, we've added the regeneration. Really looking forward to getting that one. But if you really want to hurt things and survive, you really need to take a look at the guns, and they're all modular. So you choose your barrel. You can have an SMG barrel, shotgun barrel, long range barrel, pistol barrel, or assault barrel, and then you match it with the receiver, which basically is where the bullets go. We've got the heavy receiver, sidearm receiver, high power receiver, and the assault receiver, and then we've got a couple of different scope options: holographic sights, sniper scope, and 3 different stocks that you can attach that don't appear to really do anything for you right now, aside from maybe a cosmetic element. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an assault barrel, and going against the grain here, we're going to make a shotgun barrel. And then for the receivers, we're going to make a heavy receiver. Yep, we have all the bits that we need to do that, and we're going to make a high power receiver. So those are all the components that we need, the base components, to start putting together a couple of guns. And come up here to the weapon assembly part of the whole shenanigan. We've got a shotgun barrel, and with the shotgun barrel we're going to match the heavy receiver. I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference. Rate of fire 4.5. That's still pretty respectable for a shotgun. Short range, we would expect kind of heavy recoil, and uses medium and high caliber ammo. So we're going to assemble that. That's going to be the basic shotgun, the auto shotgun. Love that. And then for the assault barrel, which is going to, or the assault rifle, which is going to be sort of our mainstay, all-arounder kind of thing, we're going to use the assault rifle barrel and the high power receiver. We assemble that, and then we tuck it away over there. And now all we have left to do is decide what do we want for stocks and sights. In this case, we're going to make a pair of holographic sights. The sniper scope doesn't really fit with what we're trying to accomplish with either of these weapons, which is why we're going for that route. We'll make an assault stock and a heavy stock for our shotgun, just because we can. Now, for the barrels and the receivers, we assemble them in the armory. For the scopes, or the sights and the stocks, we assemble them out of our primary inventory. So we go like this, and we say we've got this auto shotgun, and you look down here, it says attach, and then it brings up some more options here. We can attach the stock, and we can attach one of the sights to the top rail. There's a spot here for muzzles, so I'm guessing that that's something in the works, pending. Currently none available that I've seen that we can add, so we aren't going to worry about that. There's our shotgun. We're going to put it down there so that we can use it from our hotbar. And then for the assault rifle, it's exactly the same thing. We're going to put a sight there and a stock there and confirm, and then it's complete. And we have an assault rifle and a shotgun. And now, before we can use these things, we want to make sure that we have some ammunition. So here we've got the medium caliber ammo. This is what's going to be used for our assault rifle, and you can see on the right hand side it's got a listing of stats, and at the bottom it tells you the ammo type that you need for that particular kind of weapon. And we're just going to go with 5. And then we come over here, and high caliber, where is it? High caliber, there we go, medium high caliber solid-state disruption shells that are inexpensive to replicate, high impact, and provide the best balance between accuracy and power over short to medium ranges. So we're going to make 1, 2, 3. That's all we have enough materials to make. We have just over 2 minutes before night approaches. Or I guess night falls. It'll be here. And wow, 90. Okay, that'll be all right. And what I want to do is I want to whoa, this could be a bit of a problem. Let's go with 4. There we go. That'll work for now. So you can see the holographic sight. This is our assault rifle. Pretty straightforward. There's nothing especially crazy about it. It comes with 12 rounds already in the gun when you first make it, so you don't absolutely have to make ammunition, but you would probably be very well advised to do so. The next thing we're going to look at just before night hits is the armor. And what we've got here is 3 different kinds of armor, and they focus on different things. We've got the Cybermancer set, which provides you with a shield. We've got the Paladin set, which provides you with flat damage reduction across the board. And then we've got the Pioneer set, which gives you a little bit of shield and also increases your stamina so that you can run longer before you fatigue and have to walk and wait for your stamina to recharge. Now in our case, I want the shield. So we're going to do the hoodie, and we're going to do the legs, and the arms, and the boots. And lastly, with just enough materials to spare, the torso. They take quite a while to produce. You can see down underneath the listing of all the things that we could make, we've got the hoodie highlighted, and I apologize that you can't see the mouse cursor. It's a technical thing. We're working on it, but you get the idea. And then we've got all these other things that are going to be built in the queue after it. So what we're going to do, since the last episode also, since I got the materials, I added a generator so that we would have more power output. And then with that power output, I added another turret. So now I'm not going to worry too much about what's going on up here as night falls. We're going to be focused on what's going on down here with the splinter mites and the crazy guys that like to run around on their hind legs. The whole idea here is that I'm trying to pick weapons and put them together. What the hell? In ways that match kind of what I'm trying to accomplish. So the assault rifle is fairly accurate, medium to long ranges. You see we've got a splinter mite. He's going to try and make his way up here. It's not too hard in the ammunition consumption. It's just a good all-around weapon. My next preferred option, I don't even know what's going on the turrets, but they appear to be doing a good job. We're going to try and ignore those. As far as the weapons go, I would normally have an assault rifle and a sniper rifle. That's just my own personal preference. The way the game is tuned currently, and again, it's early access, subject to all of the changes, it doesn't make sense to have a sniper rifle and kill things from however far out you can if you can't get to it in time to recover the loot. Really. Unless it's a purely defensive maneuver, like going after a hive that's too close to your base, in which case that makes a certain amount of sense. Load that gun faster, please. There we go. You know, if you just want to get rid of that hive, then it makes sense to just pummel it from as far away as you can, not risk taking the damage, and just do it that way. But realistically speaking, you want the loot from that hive. There's a scenario where you want that Teslinium to go to waste. So it does make sense to have an especially long-distance weapon, especially when you look at the stats involved and you find out that the damage is the same, the rate of fire is the same. It's just it's really just looks like a little bit of a modification to the recoil based on the type of weapon. There we go. That's how you do it. Yeah, that's right. You go away. It pulled me all the way down here. Why did it do that? And it disappeared just as I was about to switch. Alright, fine. Be that way. So that's the whole idea. Is I decided to go with the shotgun because it's a little bit better for close-up. Things start getting crazy, and I want that damage up in their face. Shotgun's going to be a decent choice for that, I think. And then we've still got the all-around mainstay kind of guy for that sort of thing. In terms of the armor, I find the way it's set up to be really interesting because you have this choice to make when you're building your armor. Do you want damage reduction? Do you want shields? Do you want stamina? Or do you want a mix? And my build, just for the first run with it, is going to be all about the shields, because I like the idea if I take a little bit of damage that it's going to regenerate because they're shields, as opposed to taking damage to the health side of things where you have to eat something to recover that damage. That's for me, the reasoning behind choosing shields over a flat damage reduction. If it turns out that that's not going to work too well, then we can always change it. One of the other limiting factors with the shields is that they'll regenerate wherever you go during the day, but at nighttime they actually degenerate if you're outside the bubble of your Eden kit. So you lose the benefit of your shields if you're out wandering around outside the bubble at night. So that's something that we have to be aware of, and also something that we would want to consider when we're thinking about maybe increasing other types of defense or increasing our stamina with the Pioneer set, whatever we want to do. Swapping individual pieces to fine-tune what we're hoping to get out of this situation, and it's kind of neat. There's a little bit of variety and a little bit of incentive to take a look at what you've got and how you want to play and how that's playing out for you. So that's what we're going to do, and I think... So this is about the time when I assume we've got like 30 seconds left in the nighttime, and so there's not going to be any more bad guys showing up, which is absolutely not true. Because they can show up right at the last second, and I'm expecting them to be elsewhere, and it doesn't work out so well. So that's something that we'll have to keep in mind. These guys, I'm almost afraid to see what my turrets look like. After that, this guy's taking a little bit of damage, about a quarter of his health. And this guy is taking also a little bit. That's mostly the explosions from the Ikas. Because they do a little bit of damage when they do that explosion bit, and they tend to like to explode next to things that you would rather not have destroyed. Nighttime is over, new day is starting. Next episode, we're going to be looking at a little bit more detail in the armor category. We'll just quickly take a look. There's bound to be at least one thing that's complete. We've got everything except for the boots and the torso. So you can see, if you look on the left-hand side, I'm basically just in my pajamas with a respirator is what it boils down to. So we put on the hoodie, which automatically makes us much more cool. And then we put on the pants because it's just appropriate. Put on some damn pants. The arms, and then we'll have the legs and the torso for the next episode. But if we back out, you can see now in the lower left corner, it's got a little readout for our gear that's going to show us not only what our shield is at. If you look really closely, you can actually see the shield generating up to full. But also, armor has durability, and I'm not 100% clear on everything that might contribute to the loss of that durability aside from just taking damage. But I get the impression that that little display will tell us if we've got some armor that's near to failure as a result of all that. So we've got some guns. We've got a number of options that we can use to get another variety of guns, and we'll be using them fairly regularly going forward. We've got some armor that we may or may not love. We'll make some changes after the fact. It's a great thing about a modular system. In the next episode, I think we're going to be mostly looking at expanding our base because we've got a ton of materials when we were out gathering, and we really need to improve the flow, get some more space for us to work in here. We definitely need more fabricators and all the kinds of things when you're looking at expanding a base. So we'll take a look at that. If you want to be notified about that episode, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. I'm just looking at these guys down here. They're like, I don't know what's going on, but it seems safer up there than down here. You never know, because I was just looking at you down the barrel of a gun. If you want to be, if you want to leave some comments or feedback or whatever, comment section below, go ahead, do that. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.